Hi, my name is Laura Oddish, and I am a secondary English teacher. So my teaching philosophy and style can be summed up in 3 to 4 words. They would be inclusive, flexible, responsive, and workshop. So when I design lessons, I try really hard to design inclusive lessons using universal design for learning so I can reach the most number of students in every single lesson. But I am fully aware that sometimes those lessons have to go right out the window. I have to be flexible for whatever reason. Maybe there's a fire drill, maybe students just aren't ready, they didn't get the skill yesterday. I'm going to be flexible in my plans as well. And then responsive. So whether those needs are academic or emotional, I'm going to try and be responsive to my students and meet them where they are. And then workshop is much more of how it actually looks, the learning looks in my classroom. So I like the workshop model with the very short mini lesson where we're up front and we're looking at a passage or a skill together, and then students go and they work in either individually or in small groups, and I can walk around and I can help them one-on-one to apply those skills. So it's a lot more about the application than that initial lesson. 2 to 3 things that I think are most impactful to student learning. The number one thing for me is student ownership of their education. If students aren't owning their learning, they're not going to care as much, they're not going to try as hard, and they're just not going to learn as much. So to help them own their learning, for me, that looks like student voice and choice whenever possible, conferencing with them, and goal setting. So helping them set goals within my classroom and outside of my classroom that are SMART goals, and thinking about how are we actually going to achieve those goals. Which leads to the second thing that I think is most impactful, which is focusing on the process over the product. It's not just about the goal, it's how we get there. It's not just about the 10-page paper, it's all of the skills that are going to go into that paper, because those are real life skills that we can apply later in life. So when we focus on that process over product, what we're really doing is focusing on growth and learning how to fail upwards. Every failure can be something we learn from. So when they focus on that, they're going to focus on the skills that they can apply to their everyday lives outside of my classroom. And then the third thing for me that I think is most impactful is collaboration and discussion. When students can collaborate on a project or have a Socratic seminar about a particular passage, they're going to hear more ideas. They're going to hear ideas that are different from their own, and maybe things that they were confused about before. Those gaps are going to be filled in by hearing other students' voices. And I think a lot more learning happens in that moment than in that initial lesson. Some guiding principles for me as a teacher. I really believe in Maslow over Bloom's. It is my job to create a safe classroom, because if students don't feel safe, they are never going to be able to do that critical thinking that we really want them to be able to do. So I always hear, the guidance counselor is talking about Maslow over Bloom's, but I believe that that's true in every single one of our classrooms. Part of that is building relationships, which leads to another guiding principle for me, which is to be curious. When a student has their head down or they're just not performing at the same way they normally do, whatever's going on, when I find myself feeling frustrated or maybe getting angry, I always remind myself to be curious. Go into this conversation curious. Don't just react to this thing. Don't just give in to that frustration, but ask the questions. When the student's head's down, not just why is your head down, but hey, did you get enough sleep last night? Why not? Did you eat breakfast? Why not? What's going on? I think it builds relationships, it builds trust, and it leads into more of that safe place. I also really believe in having contagious passion. So I love reading. I enjoy writing, and I really do believe that passion is contagious. So sometimes that means that I have to make a fool of myself. Sometimes that means I have to be a little bit goofy and showcase that it is okay to love what you do and to have passion. Because when I can bring that passion and make it contagious, they're going to care more, they're going to enjoy the classroom more, and then they're just going to learn more. It's going to be more fun for all of us. I think I talked a little bit about failing upwards, celebrating growth. I really do believe in that. I also, I think the great Maya Angelou said, when you know better, do better. It is a guiding principle for me in life and in the classroom. Whenever I can learn something and I can share it and I can do better, that's what I want to do. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.